Okay, 11.2. This is, now we're going to get into, once we know what an equation really is, we're going to look at solving one-step equations. And it is in the form of x plus a equals b, or x minus a equals b. Okay, so we're just looking at adding and subtracting. But anyways, we'll get to that. We need to go over a couple things before we look at the solving component. And that is, I'm going to use the phrase opposite operation quite a bit. Okay, so when we say opposite operation, first of all, operation means adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. But we have opposite operations, and they are operations that undo the other operation. So, for example, subtraction is the opposite of addition. Okay, so they're opposite. Multiplication and division are opposite one another. Okay, so now all of the probably every single equation that we're going to try and solve, that I'm going to show you how to solve, you can do in your head, and you can solve and figure out what the variable actually is. No problem. That's not what we're practicing. That's not what I'm trying to teach here or show you. What I'm showing you is a process, because down the road the equations get much more difficult, and you need to make sure you're using the process properly so you actually can solve when it's difficult. Anyways, so our overall purpose when we're solving an equation, what we're trying to accomplish is this right here. We are trying to isolate the variable. That means isolate means all by yourself. So we're trying to get the variable all by itself. Okay? And in order to do that, we're going to have to perform some opposite operations on both sides of the equal sign, okay, on both sides of the equation. Now, I'm going to verbally and just through this list here, I'm going to show you the steps to follow in order to do that. Okay, so step one, you're going to figure out what you need to remove, to get the variable alone, or as I mentioned, isolated. Step two is the actual doing it, and that's where you're going to use the opposite operation. So you're actually going to do some math there. Now, step three is kind of part of step two, but you got to make sure that the opposite operation is performed on both sides of the equal sign. And I'm going to show you why in a second here. Actually, maybe I'll do it right now. I'm going to go over a couple of examples here. So if this looks a little wordy and overwhelming, just hold tough, because later on I'm going to make it a little more clear. So here's a nice, clean little question here. X plus 22 equals 56, and we want to figure out what x is. Well, I know you already know it's 34 just by looking at it. But you got to practice getting the variable all by itself. Okay, that means we need to get rid of that positive 22. We got to get rid of it. Okay, so step one, you realize, okay, I got to remove the positive 22 to get x all by itself. Step two, we are going to perform the opposite operation. The opposite of positive or plus 22 is subtract 22. So step three is you're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So take a look over here. So we start off with x, I'm not going to, better not use that. We're going to start off with x plus 22 equals 56. We want to get rid of that positive 22. I'm just going to change colors here. We're going to get rid of that positive 22 by putting in a negative 22. Now, if we do that on that side of the equation, we have to do it on the other side. Because remember, an equation is balanced. It is the same on one side as it is on the other side. So if you do something to one side, like we did here, we subtracted 22, that's like somebody jumping off the teeter-totter when it's balanced. And the other side is going to come crashing down. So to keep it balanced, we have to subtract 22 on the other side. That keeps it even. Okay? Now, whenever you have positive 22 and then you subtract 22, this cancels right out, right? And then all you're left with is x on that side. You go 56, take away 22, we got 34. That's how you do it. Okay. Now, right here, it kind of shows you how you can check to see if your answer is right. You'd actually take the 34 and plug it right in to the question, right? 34 plus 22 equals 56. And it's 56 on both sides, so that means you're correct. Anyways, I'm not going to emphasize that. What I do want to do is show you a couple of examples. So here's another one. I'm going to use the question y plus 4 equals 13. Right? Now, I want to get y all by itself. I want to isolate it. So if we have a plus 4, then we have to subtract 4, right? That will get rid of that plus 4. But if we do it on the left-hand side of the equation, what do we have to do over here? We have to do the same thing. We have to subtract 4 over there. That keeps everything balanced. So these two will cancel out, right? And you're left with just the y over here equals 13 take away 4 is 9. Okay, pause the video and just look at that for a second until it makes some sense. Okay, I'm going to do another one for you. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do 8 equals y minus 4. Okay. Don't freak out because the variable's on the right side and everything looks a little backwards. It doesn't make any difference. It's the same exact process. Okay, so we want to get y all by itself, and we've got a negative 4 there. So how do you get rid of a minus 4? You bet. You add 4. Now, is my equation balanced right now? No, it is not, because we added 4 on this side. So we have to add 4 on this side. Okay, now these two cancel out, and you're left with y over here. And 8 plus 4 gives you 12. And that's your answer. Y equals 12. Okay. Now, let's go back to, right here. I have a couple for you to practice. So I want you to pause the video and give these a crack. Okay, I'm going to fly through these, give you the answers. So let's see how you do. I have n plus 7 equals 26, so I'm going to take away 7, but I'm going to do it on both sides. These cancel out, and I'm left with n. Oops, what happened there? N. Why is it black? Okay, it doesn't matter. N equals 26 take away 7 is 19. Okay, let's do a subtraction one. Let's do d instead. So d take away 4 equals 12. Well, I want to get rid of that minus 4, so I'm going to add 4. But I have to do it on both sides, don't I? Okay, these will cancel out. I'm left with d equals 12 plus 4 is 16. Okay, let's do some addition. T plus 3 equals 11. Well, let's get rid of that plus 3 with a negative 3. And we're going to do it on both sides. These cancel out. You're left with t equals 11 minus 3 is 8. Okay, back over here. Oh my goodness, the d is on the wrong side. What's going on? Doesn't matter. Okay, so d minus 9. To get rid of that minus 9, I need to throw down a plus 9. That's correct. Okay, I have to do it on both sides though, don't I? Okay, so these will cancel out. I'm left with d equals 17 plus 9 is 26. Okay, back over here. Y plus 6 equals 15. I have to subtract 6 there. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Keep it balanced. So then I'm left with y equals 15 minus 6 is a 9er. Okay, here we have y minus 3 equals 7. Okay, I want to get this minus 3 out of there, so I'm going to add 3. And if I do that on that side, I have to do the same on the other side. They cancel out. I'm left with y equals 10. That's all there is to it. One step, opposite operation with addition and subtraction.